commencing. All right, now Kuala Lumpur Hunters versus Fire Dragoons. There, Game 2. Now, what do you expect what do you expect coming into Game 2 here, Zach? How do you expect that the team compositions are gonna go?
I'm pretty sure KLH will ban Vlad unless they leave it open and let FDG pick him again. I'm very curious whether FDG will pick Vlad again when it's open or not.
Now we see the Karma ban coming from FDG there, and Syndra being banned out by Kuala Lumpur Hunters. So more of a mid focus there. Thresh being banned out from Hockey 26.
No more Thresh from Hockey.
I agree. So we won't be able to see that coming into Game 2.
Pretty surprising FDG banned Lulu and Karma on the red side, since these two bands are not really famous anymore nowadays as the meta changes. And Thresh has been a really popular pick and is banned right now. And Tam Kench has been a really popular pick as well. I'm pretty curious to see that which team will pick Tam Kench or they'll not pick it at all.
Yeah, I agree.
Zyra is still open though.
Zyra is still open, wondering if Bipolar will be willing to pick it up there, or if Hockey 26 would choose to take it away from Kuala Lumpur Hunters.
What a surprise from KLH, picking Zac first pick and not picking Lee Sin for Casper. Looks like Casper will take more of a supportive role for a team right now.
I agree there. Now both the support picks being banned out on side of FDG, as you mentioned, Karma and the Lulu, as well as the Galio. So no top lane playmaking potential. They don't have that beefy frontliner, that the sort of what I like to call Shen version 2, in the sense that his ultimate can help negate some damage and get in there really quick and help turn the tables in team fights.
Yeah, the first pick Lee Sin is not really my favorite. I haven't seen Sarah really perform well on Lee Sin, but he did really perform well on Elise. And Cannon is still open. I hope Neko pick that, since Cannon is really good picking the top lane right now. A very, very, very stable carry top laner.
I agree, but they may have picked Lee Sin away from Caspiel because they do not want Caspiel on that carry jungler again, because of the performance that we saw him carry out in Game 1.
Oh, Ashe is open and they're gonna hover around Varus and pick Varus.
Interesting pick there for Ribena. He goes for the Varus again.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure KLH will pick either Ashe or another hyper carry here, since Veki likes to play hyper carry a lot.
I agree there, Veki. Didn't exactly see the kind of we didn't exactly see the kind of performance we would have expected of Veki on the Kog'Maw in Game 1, but he may actually come into Game 2 trying to redeem himself in that sense. So as you mentioned, there Ashe is locked in.
Zyra, I'm pretty sure Zyra will pick here, since the Ashe and Zyra combo is so good. An arrow into the root and just one shot the bottom lane.
It is, I agree, and it will, It got locked in there. So we have the bot lane as well as the jungle being locked in for Kuala Lumpur Hunters on the side of FDG. Now mid lane champions being hovered there by JLKC. It would be interesting to see if he does pick up the Katarina.
Yeah,
because it
blind pick it first. Oh, definitely, he blind pick Vlad.
Does blind pick the Vlad there. So they may be going for a similar team comp that they had in Game 1, whereby they try to get the picks off, but instead of the Elise, they now have the Lee Sin, which now has way more playmaking potential, so that they're able to basically snowball all three lanes instead of falling behind Caspiel, which, as we mentioned, is a very efficient jungler, is able to basically get ahead against the enemy jungler and then this ends against Zare. So they did pick that away from KLH's Caspiel. So let's see if Zare can find the same success that Caspiel did.
Sorry, so the fact that they picked Zac, I'm really curious how Casper will perform on Zac, honestly. I've never seen him play a Zac before. I'm so excited to see him play Zac and how he perform on Gonzare. Was Zare able to just out-pressure Casper, or Casper was just able to even out-pressure Lee Sin with a Zac? Because Zac is pretty weak in early games. And if Casper really did well with Zac, it would be very impressive in the early game.
I agree. But interesting to see how FDG did focus a lot on the mid lane there, with the Karma, with the Lu, and the Talia, as well as the Orianna there. So
I gotta say, Talia ban was not my favorite because there's not much people that play Talia in TLC. I've never seen a single person that play Talia, even when it's open. So I'm not really sure about the Talia ban there.
But they may, R-Hedge may have had a lot of success in solo queue, so FDG may not have wanted to take that risk there. So they do ban out the Talia just for their safety purpose.
And Tam Kench, I call it. Tam Kench
there. You did call it Hockey 26. Let's see if he can have that same playmaking potential that he does on the Thresh there. Tam Kench sending in, so you have the Varus lockdown. Tam Kench being able to swallow up people. JLKC will basically be able to perma-slow the enemy when he picks up that Rylai's as well as his boots. So he'll just basically be this slowing machine. And of course you have Zare on that Lee Sin. So a lot of playmaking potential on the side of FDG. And on the side of KLH, they're going for a more solid team comp. So they want to scale into the mid game. They want to scale it into the mid-late game and just basically outfight FDG, ensure that they don't get picked out, but go for more of these 2-man skirmishes, 3-man skirmishes, or the team fights.
Looks like they're hovering over Jace. I'm really doubting that they'll pick that since Jace is not real. Oh, they'll pick
but they
it.
do. They do pick the Jace. My favorite champion on the League of Legends, man. Jace is just... You see, the thing about Jace, right, is he's basically very 50-50 in the sense that if you get that snowball rolling, he's an absolute monster in the top lane. But if he falls behind, he's basically useless.
I was hoping for a Lucian top though, saying the counter cannon, but no, you won't see it here. And they gave the cannon to Shiro again, which I'm not really a fan of. They should have just not picked Tam Kenchens and picked cannon for Neko. Maybe Neko was not a fan of cannon. We'll see about that.
That might be true. But as we mentioned, FDG may be looking for the picks there, and Jace is the perfect champion for that because he has the mobility. He's basically a second Karma in that sense with his acceleration gate. So he's able to allow the entirety of FDG's comp to just run through the gate and just mow down KLH if they get the chance.
Yeah, I really like that Tam Kench pick here, sorry. Since when Veki arrow Rabina, he can eat Rabina and just run away from there.
I agree. So he can't save him from the arrow, he can't save him from the root, and that's basically a sort of counter to Thresh and any other support or AD carry for that matter.
Lockdown.
Right, that has a lockdown, CC in general, basically. So Tam Kench is a really good pick in that sense. So let's see if Hoki26 can find success on that pick. Now, in terms of the team comps as a whole, we keep mentioning that FDG have a team comp that basically focuses on picking out players off of KLH and ensuring that they get them out of position and just demolishing anyone that comes in their way. But on the side of KLH there, they want to play a very solid team comp. They want to play it slow. They want to just scale it into the mid game and then just basically their team comp has been designed in such a way that they're able to get objectives, especially with that Cassiopeia. They can zone him out with the poison, and if anyone does jump on the Cassio, does have that movement speed from Q, can basically peel out for their AD carry.
Honestly, oh, the game is starting.
Alright, well, we will be going in. It's Fire Dragoons versus Kuala Lumpur Hunters, Game 2 on Summoner's Rift. A relatively standard start here, but actually, excuse me. All of Kuala Lumpur Hunters are going on the bot lane, as well as...
I gotta point out that I really like the Casper skin on the deck. The Chroma skin, it's pretty good.
Actually, kind of threw me off there. We've got Orange Esports on the red side and Formod on the blue, so kind of actually threw me off there. I was just like, what is happening?
Shiro is in the top lane, and they're casting 5 years scoring.
Oh, we might see a little fight there. Bipolar does get
first
blood
for Ribena.
To Ribena. Okay, but the fight is still going on. Caspiel very low, has to burn the flash. R-Heads there, takes a whole chunk of damage, does eat the shock blast, but has to back off there.
Well played by FDG, really well played. And I don't understand why Shiro stayed at top when the whole team is going bottom. He was alone top.
May have been a bit of miscommunication there between Shiro and the rest of his team. May have hoping that, hey, if the invade does come into our blue side, then Shiro would be able to spot it out. So that may have been what went down on the side of KLH there, but it didn't really succeed because they had a 5-man just running it down bot. And as we mentioned there, the Jace, the Lee Sin, the Vlad, Varus, especially with the Q there, and of course Tam Kench. So they have a lot of picking potential basically to basically zone out one target and try to eliminate that target so that the team fight balance falls into the favor of FDG here.
Honestly, I quite disagree with you, as I think KLH combo is pretty good for team fight as well. Honestly, they got Shiro AoE ulti, Casper with an AoE ulti as well, and HH have an AoE ulti as well. And there's so much engage on KLH that they can start fight for them and greatly for them.
Now, since Ribena did pick up the first blood there, Ribena did pick up the first blood there, so he does come back into lane with a longsword there. So the extra AD is going to help him basically poke against Veki there. So let's hope Veki doesn't play off position as he did in game 1 there. He is there. He's a little too close, but he will be safe. It's still early game, so it's relatively difficult to tell how it's going to play out because, as you mentioned, both team comps are relatively solid. So both of them scale really well into the mid game. So let's hope we get a replay of that first blood because there's just so much action to cover there. All right, so as you can see, both KLH and FDG are the meeting there. Bipolar,
checking.
Right, Bipolar had to face check that bush. I'm not entirely sure why they sent Bipolar in instead of just dropping a ward, but had to pay for it with his life.
And Bipolar didn't even use his flash, so it was pretty a doubtful choice there.
First blood there going to Ribena. So CS there relatively even. not
Zach
much going
looking
on.
for an early gang on Shiro. Let's see how well it will end. Since both sides have no CC, it'll be pretty hard to lock down Shiro. So I'm not sure that the gang will work out or not. I'm pretty sure the gang will not work out. And Zach is going to invade Casper jungle right now. This team is definitely stronger than Casper right now.
Oh, but Caspiel does spot out Zar there. Has to walk out. Opts to just take the scuttle there while Caspiel goes up. Yeah. Interesting flow there. You did notice that how Zair there waited in the bush for a bit too long. And of course, Shiro there noticing that it wasn't quite right. Of course, Jace does shove out the lane, but he was shoving it out extremely fast, having to burn his mana, trying to bait Shiro in to come in and give Jace some poke. But Shiro there playing it smartly, thought, oh, but a little action going on there.
By Casper level 4, he might be able to solo Neko right here. Oh,
Neko.
RH, rotate
Neko
over,
actually
gonna be a kill, Neko.
Neko actually getting away.
Oh,
Oh, he does not.
RH,
Oh.
kill go was to RH.
Kill going on to RH there, but they're still on the chase. JLKC running for his life. Gets the enhanced transfusion onto RH, but will just walk away from that. What just happened there, Zach? I don't entirely... What was Neko thinking trying to jump in? Caspiel, of course, as you mentioned, level 4 is able to just lock down Neko with his spells and just wait for his rest of his team to come.
He
and
knows
of course,
that,
Neko
he knows
falling.
that Casper was there at the top, but he wasn't entirely sure if Casper was staying or not. But in the end, he faced Shaq and Casper was just right in front of him and just got caught by Casper. And RH made a really good effort rotating to there and just catching out Neko, and Neko was completely dead right there.
A little mispositioning there by Neko. Did have to give up his life for it.
Let's talk a bit about bottom lane. I'm honestly sure that bottom lane is always has so much advantage on the side of KLH, since KLH has 2 range champion and a mage support. So Rebina is going to have a tough lane since he has first blood and an extra long shield, long sword. It helps so much on the laning phase. So a very good thing that FDG Rebina get first blood right there. It helps so much in his laning phase.
I agree. It does help him give that extra AD. He's able to farm a bit more efficiently than Veki. But there's still trading bows there. Do you notice how both AD carries are actually using a bow and arrow there?
Oh, really?
Both Varus as well as the Ashe.
I didn't even notice that.
Flicking a few arrows at each other. I mean, of course, being a support main, right? As when the game starts slowing down, you just tend to notice the little things in League. You're just like, oh, hey, the terrain looks good. And oh, hey, there's this or there's that. So it's just always the little things in League. So whether you're a big shot player or just, oh, okay, not much going on. Especially see when Jace lands his enhanced shock blast, more often than not, he'd want to go in.
The Q misses.
There. Just picking a little fight, a little fist fight going on between the junglers. But Caspiel will walk away as well as Zair. So, Zach, as you mentioned, let's focus it back down to the bot lane there. We do have the Ashe, we do have the Zyra. Of course, Zyra running Ignite, running Thunder Roads. It will be a huge impact coming into the mid to late game there with the damage there, especially after she picks up her Leandres. She will be just really, really difficult for FDG to deal with, especially with that ultimate Stranglethorns there. It would be able to lock up the whole of FDG. So interesting team comps coming in from both these teams. Game 1, they may have been trying to feel each other there, seeing that what is the other team playing, what is the other team trying to build there, and in Game 2, they just pull out what they would feel comfortable on. So as we see, Ribena playing the Varus again, JLKC again on the Vlad. So these may be comfort pick for these champions. A little Shiro there, not going there. Caspiel, a little too wide there, buddy.
Yeah. Honestly, like for JLKC, he's gonna pick Vlad again over and over. It's because he's so comfortable in that champion. He's able to legit 1vs5 with us, very ahead in that champion. And RH picking Cassiopeia into a Vlad was really good.
I'm gonna have to interrupt you there, Zach, because Caspiel does have to go back in. Oh, uses the ultimate there. Neko in a bit of trouble. Will he able to get himself alive? No, he will not. Caspiel there picking up the kill. A beautiful gank there. Caspiel actually staying around, ensuring that Neko thinks he's safe. But of course, he was not.
Like when Neko doesn't have flash and still overextend there, and Zach has an immense amount of CC and just catch him out right there.
I agree. Neko actually playing not quite to the standard of Jace. I mean, personally being the Jace player there, you should, as you mentioned, his flash was down, so he'd have to farm undeterred because Kennen does have the stun, and you're fighting against a jungler that basically has CC in almost every spell of his. You have the elastic slingshot, you've got the others as well, the let's bounce. So Caspiel, as we mentioned, Caspiel's performance here, he is out farming against Zer, as well as picking up a kill for himself. So he will just instantly rush the Boots of Lucidity. They're getting that CDR, just able to cast more spells in these skirmishes as well as team fights.
Yeah, as you can see that Zer putting more of a defensive role instead of offensive. I'm really doubted that Zer, why did he play so defensive when he's in Lee Sin facing a Zac, when he's supposed to be more aggressive early game and look for more pressure and more picks and more ganks. And Casper just out-pressing Zer again right now, even though on a weaker champions in the game, he still managed to out-pressure Zer. I gotta give credit for Casper right there.
Right, I agree. Now, what do you think the win conditions are for both these teams? Because as you mentioned, KLH does have a quite solid comp as well as FDG. So how do you feel that both teams are going to have to win coming into Game 2?
Oh, definitely. I feel like I really like KLH comp much more better than FDG, since KLH has so much engage on his comp. All 5 of the champions have the engage too, and FDG they only have a few on their various ulti and FDG they occasionally flashing in on a few deals of these two can be used. But KLH have a long range engage which are so much better for their comp, so they can pick out fights that they really want and just disengage fight that doesn't want it. Can use CC to disengage as well.
Right, I agree. Now let's talk a little bit about itemization here. Of course, Vlad there having tier 1 boots does pick up the Doran shield. An interesting pickup there against a Cassiopeia. Of course, Cassiopeia being a mage, so wouldn't exactly block much of basic attacks, and Cass doesn't weave much of those into her, basically into her set, or into her sequence,
But
into her spell
but
sequence.
he still
So
gave a base health regen, so it's pretty good still.
I see, interesting pickup there. But in terms of itemization, wouldn't going for a little bit more damage on Vlad, of course Vlad not being a mana champion, so doesn't have to depend on that resource. But interesting point to pick up on there, does give him the extra health regen, so actually that's a unique pick I've not actually seen in solo queue, where Vlad would pick up Doran shield first. It's not exactly something you see, but of course these are high tier players, so they do have strategies that we may not be aware of.
Because in this patch, Doran shield is so OP that every single laner is going to pick it if their laning is weak. Even if you're Kate or whatsoever, that ADC is dominant in lane or their lane dominant, you still pick Doran shield because it's still worth it for it.
I agree. Helps to duel out between the AD carries, so...
Oh, looks like Zer going to be spotted out here. Rock jumps
Bipolar
away.
does spot out Zer. Zer just gonna walk around. Doesn't
Looks
even
like KLH
decide.
bottom lane is roaming pretty early right here. Well, it's not very early, but they're roaming, searching for any kills.
They're just vision being cleared out there. Oh, excuse
but
me.
they do miss a few minions and EXP off that row.
I agree, but the rotation, of course, does not pay off. No action happens.
For,
They do
for now,
return.
KLH laners are all pretty ahead of FDG just a bit. But you can see the gold is starting to accumulate for, in the advantage of KLH now. They already have 500 gold lead, 600 gold lead now. And it's a really good progress at KLH since they really scale really well. Unlike Lee Sin, oh, it will kill off camera. Diving into 2 towers, wow.
Alright, the Shiro and Caspiel, of course, ganging up on Neko again. Neko now third death of the game. Hope we can get a replay of that. It was off screen as you mentioned, so not quite sure what happened there, but
Yeah,
it
definitely KLH focus so much more on top lane in this game instead of bottom lane. They are so, since there's no trash in the game, they are not really that worried about the trash talk anymore. So Casper decided to put so much focus on the carry top lane. Really good play by Casper, honestly.
I agree. Good rotations there from Caspiel. Of course, as you mentioned, shutting down that hyper carry Jace, ensuring that he's not that huge pest to deal with in mid game, because his shock blasts do hurt.
This is what the carry top lane matchup is supposed to be. It's a lot of fighting, a lot of ganking going on.
So Caspiel there, of course, no death yet on this Zac. 1-0 and 2. Bilgewater Cutlass and 2 daggers being picked up there on the side of Shiro. So he will get that extra attack speed. He will have that slow. So more ganking potential onto Neko. Neko, of course, as we mentioned, having that mobility on Jace, just spamming the ultimate.
It really feels bad for Neko now. He's going to have so much more less pressure now in his lane. And even in team fight, Neko has much less pressure than Shiro, since Shiro has an ultimate stun and Neko doesn't have any stun at all.
I agree.
And Neko is 0-3-1 right now. Really unlucky to be Neko in this position, honestly.
Bot lane there, not much actually going on. Just FDG shoving out the wave, hoping to attract jungle pressure to ensure that Neko can farm out safely. But of course, Caspiel and Shiro just trying to take out the Rift Herald. Maybe looking for some objectives here, just applying some pressure again onto the top lane. Because as you mentioned, we keep pointing this out, but a lot of jungle pressure from KLH is being applied onto the top side of the map. Their first turret, of course, going down. And Neko falling again. His third death of the game there, so won't be able to carry as hard as we would have hoped coming in from pick and bans, but they would be able to play it out there. So
And
now we're
let's
just
see a replay coming out from the top lane queue right there.
Alright, now Neko there basing.
Oh.
Did not expect Caspia's electric slingshot to jump in. Does manage to land the Q there, slinging him back to get a Shiro just coming in for the Q, and just a lot of damage coming out from Caspio. The knock-up landing as well. Neko trying to save him with the hammer stance E, but it doesn't work out for him. Flash burnt there by Caspio. Shiro, of course, ultimately picking up that kill, allowing him to snowball the lane. Oh,
The
Ash Arrow.
miss.
Misses by a few degrees there. Wonder if we can call that a dodge on the side of Ribena, or was that a miss from
I'm pretty sure
Becky?
it's a miss. I'm pretty sure it's a miss.
We'll just call it a dodge. It just sounds, you know, more professional there. So Ribena just professionally not moving in that direction. Let's just call it that. Right, so of course bot lane pressure being exhumed there because the Ash Arrow was burned and was spotted out by the bot lane Ribena as well as Hoki. So jungle pressure may be attracted there. Zera may choose to rotate down. We haven't seen a gank bot lane coming in from Zera, so interesting to see how the top lane pressure has affected the rest of the map. What do you think about that, Zach?
I feel like Zare try to gang the wrong lanes, and Zare is supposed to be protecting top lane more since both of them carry top lanes. Instead, he stick around and mid and bottom more, which he didn't pull out any off gangs that pressure the map much, and he didn't able to pull off a bot lane gang, and didn't even go top and try to protect Neko. So Caspian did the exactly opposite thing and able to just snowball top lane and take first blood tower, and even Rift Herald is taken by Caspian right now. I'm looking to see how Caspian will make use of the Rift Herald right now.
Interesting.
Dragon is still up. It's a Cloud Dragon, so it doesn't matter much.
I agree, but of course, as our co-casters mentioned in Game 1, better to take the objective than to let the enemy team take it. So of course, Cloud Drake giving you that extra movement speed
Caspian
will allow Caspian to rotate around the map. Okay, those style points there, summoning the Rift Herald.
Summon. A really good choice there since JLKC is in the base trying to go back here. Let's see JLKC is going to be in time to protect his tower.
He may not be able to, of course, he is a Vlad there.
Tower is already going low. Yep, the tower is gone.
And will he?
Oh,
we just moved out, but a
camera.
kill. What just happened? Bipolar just picked up a kill onto Ribena there, even though Ash Arrow was down. Hope we can get a replay of that. There's a lot of action actually going on. Hoki there swallowing Zare, running for his life. Caspiel there just applying a lot of pressure. Jumps in. Dragon's Rage actually used Resonating Strike. Does connect there. Zare may have bitten up more than he can choose. Bipolar still going on for the chase there. Hoki having to burn his flash and manages to wobble away to safety. What just happened? There's like just so much action
Oh my god,
going on.
KLH rotated to bottom and instantly with the advantages and able to pick off FDG in their own turret between the both tier 1 and tier 2 turret. And Casper just so tanky right there. Lee Sin could not just kill him, and he was tanking so much damage and not receiving as many punish he should take.
Now, interesting positioning there from Zare, but another team fight just might break up. Hammer Frades actually just played there. Ultimate being popped there by Shiro. She's solo having to retreat there. JLKC having to use his extra item to run away. Arhead's now running for his life. Oh, but gets sniped by Ribena. Beautiful shot there coming in from the 80k FDG. But now Bipolar running for his life. Will they be able to do 3 low? Well, actually, Caspiel jumping in. Bipolar again picking up the kill and is now on a killing spree. The Q connects onto Caspiel. Oh, all 3 Qs connect onto Caspiel. The passive is being popped there, but Veki picks up the kill onto Zare. He may have bitten more than he can chew. And now FDG again on the defensive. Actually, Caspiel jumping back in. Does almost manage to pick up the kill, but then Hoki swallows him up. Ribena now running for his life. Bit of the Ruin King having to pop to get up that extra HP there, but Q lands onto Shiro. Shiro still manages to live, having to walk away. Caspiel is just a monster in these fights. We just saw 3 team fights consecutively. Zach, you gotta take this away, man. Of course, it is
kept engaging and engaging in game. What a great play by KLH. KLH already have the advantage of FDG, and FDG still make the choice to fight them, which are not a really right choice since KLH is so much more stronger right now. And with their Cassiopeia all following up so fast.
Now we will be able to see how exactly Bipolar was able to get into a killing spree. Of course, did give up first blood to Ribena, but is now on a killing spree, 3-1-0 on that Zyra. Let's see if we can get a replay of the off-screen kill that we missed there. Alright, so Ribena there actually farming up. Becky trying to push up the lane. Ultimate. That's what happened. The arrow actually landed onto a Ribena there. Was not able to apply any damage or lifesteal back, and Bipolar catching up into the lane and just annihilated him off the rip.
Nice flash route by Bipolar there, following up after the arrow. And Ribena just got one shot there. Since Hockey is not there to save him, And Ravina it's not a wise choice to do 1v1 Becky when you don't know where the bipolar is. And he just got one shot because of that.
I agree there. Cloud Drake being picked up on the side of KLH. You did mention Cloud Drake not that important, but of course, they thought different. They were like, hey, let's get the extra movement speed.
It
Will
does
allow
help
us
with
to
the
rotate.
rotation.
Yep, I agree there. Blue buff being contested. No, actually, yes, it is. Caspiel. I like how Caspiel comes right off the edge of the screen and it just slingshots himself way back into the action. Ultimate being thrown out there by Rabina, does not connect onto Bipolar,
Oh,
but
going
actually
in.
Zaire there, gets the shutdown gold onto Bipolar, and now FDG on the chase, ultimate landing onto Zaire, but it will not matter. He does pick up the kill onto Caspiel there. A lot of action happening now. Becky
Zaire.
there running for his life. He does manage to get the blast code.
Oh,
And
he
he
still
does
dies.
pick up the kill onto Zaire. Zach, what is happening in this bot lane?
But you can see Caterpillar is pushing top lane, gonna get a tier 2 top lane tower probably. And of course Zaire finally popping off, getting a double kill. However, he overextend, queuing over with no vision there and just got killed by Becky and Shiro.
I agree. If it has to be anyone in this game, it would be Caspiel to be MVP on the side of KLH there. Beautiful play by Zach. Plays beautifully. He plays on the edge. When he's about to die and he knows that his passive is up, he re-engages, ensuring to burn the cooldowns of FDG so that his team can follow up and apply more damage there. Ribena going on the offensive, they're missing the chain of corruption, but FDG still opt to go for it. It was a decent trade, I'd have to say. Varus there does pick up the double kill, but of course, FDG is still a little slightly behind KLH there.
Definitely, as you can see, Casper has so much trust on the team there. Just re-engage and re-engage again, soloing there, and the team follow up so fast and helping Casper make sure that he doesn't die without any punishment given to FDG. Well played by Casper, trusting the team so much and keep on re-engaging, and so tanky. He just can't die right there. Everyone tried to kill aim Casper and kill him, but he was so tanky that no one can kill him. And his passive didn't even pop yet.
I agree. And if the strategy of KLH was to shut down the Jace, then of course they did succeed in that, almost. Of course, Neko there, 0-4 and 2 on the Jace. Did just pick up his Yomus there. Actually, we saw him in the top lane, a little skirmish there with Arhedge.
Yeah.
Even his enhanced Shock Blast was not able to do as much damage as you would have expected this late into the game from a
The
Jace.
Rod Aegis giving Casper so much tankiness. There you go.
Right, 20-minute mark there. We saw the big purple worm called Baron Nashor spawn there. Let's see if the teams are going to contest the battle around it. Vision, of course, being placed around the Raptors side, onto the KLH's vision being placed onto the Raptors side. So FDG there yet to establish their line of vision in order to contest this objective.
Compared to game 1, this game carry definitely look more dominant. As you can see, it's 20 minutes into the game. Every single tier.
I'm going to have to interrupt you there, Zach, because Caspiel does go for the jump, but does not
jump
choose
away.
to engage.
Is that continue? FDG lost every single tier 1 tower in 20 minutes, and Kelly starting out the Baron in 20 minutes. What a risky move right there.
All right, Caspiel there, 50% HP. Baron going down relatively
FDG is
quick
going,
there.
it's going down so fast.
Will Zaire be able to get the steal there? Does
TB
land the
going
Q.
down.
Oh, actually jumps into the pit. Will he be able to? No, Caspiel picks up the Baron, and now Zaire is stuck in there. No teammate to jump out to. He does have to ward hop there. But now Neko jumping in for the kill. Shiro does have to burn his ultimate. Now FTG are on the run there. Oh, off screen. Oh, Hoki26 dies to the poison from Arhedge.
flash
Veki
kill
now
by
on a
Arhedge.
killing spree. Neko overstayed his welcome, and now the bot lane side of FTG running for his life there. Ribena is not safe in the eyes
They
of
got
Ash.
a Baron 20 minutes and 3 kills off there. What a great achievement by KLH. They are getting so much of the thing kills and going most probably get an invader out of this.
I agree. Tier 2 turret there falling in the mid lane, and KLH are not stopping their advance. They're going in for the inhibitor turret, and it will fall shortly. Of course, this is a mid to late game Ash with 2 items, so objectives just fall right down there. Inhibitor will fall from the mid lane there. KLH and now deciding to back off, getting what they wanted. As you mentioned, they do manage to get the inhibitor.
What a great Baron call there. All FDG members are in the fountain and not ready to respond to that. Casper is, KLH is like map hacking. They know where is FDG doing, and they start Baron instantly and burst it down so fast. More faster than expected. And they got Baron and got 3 kills off there, which make this game most probably is going to be over. It's almost up to 10k lead for KLH. And look at all the towers for KLH. It's still healthy and still up.
This may have been also due to, as we mentioned, the line of vision coming in from FDG was not there. Zaire had to basically blind jump into Baron Nashor, did not know how low it was, so was not able to time his smite there accurately. So of course, Caspiel there picking it up with the smite. And as you mentioned, 3 kills going onto the side of KLH there. So a beautiful trade onto the side of KLH. And as we mentioned, they are snowballing out. So Cassia there, 2-1 and 2 there. So just absolutely dominating game
Look at
2.
this, look at this.
Oh, but a little fight there. Shiro actually gets caught up between 3 members of FDG. Does have to fight for his life. Pops the blade of the Ruined King. Will it be able to be enough? No. Hoki swallows him in and spits him out to his death.
Shiro almost got Ravina in return in exchange 1
Oh, but we've got more fight there, Zach. I'm going to have to interrupt you because JLKC there goes ham against 4 members of KLH. Not entirely sure what these guys are doing there. Really
second
opposition.
inhibitor of this.
Does pick up the top lane inhibitor turret and will they do go for the inhibitor there, but will FDG be able to contest it? No, they will not. They do not want to engage against such a strong KLH there. 13-5. Actually, Caspiel jumping in does get the Q onto 2 people there. Ultimate coming in from Ribena. Will it be able to be enough? No, it will not. Arhedge and Caspiel just taking a tiny amount of poke from Ribena there. Zach, what was that? That was a beautiful rotation that we experienced. You want to break it down for us?
Definitely. FDG tried to make plays on the ball lane, catching out Shiro. However, the 4 members of KLH is already there, taking all the objective out. And FDG wasting too much time and spending so much member at the ball lane, trying to get Shiro. Although they do get Shiro, but in exchange for that, they lost an invader. We are so not worth. Although Shiro, they did get a kill on Shiro, that doesn't really matter much as well. Honestly, at this point, KLH is already 10k ahead of goal, ahead of FDG, and there's only 1 more invader to go.
Now, as you mentioned, Cloud Drake, not that important. I'm going to have to keep bringing this up in game 2, but of course, second Cloud Drake spawning there on the Rift, being picked up by KLH again. So that extra movement speed, as we keep mentioning. That extra movement speed, as we keep mentioning on the side of KLH, they're picking up the second Cloud Drake of the game. So that extra move speed is going to allow Caspiel to apply even more pressure onto these lanes as well as these engages. Because as we can see there, it's elastic slingshots over terrain. And of course, you have the constant threat of Veki's Ash Arrow. You do have the lockdown coming in from Bipolar that we did mention in Pick and Bans there. So a lot of lockdown coming in from the side of KLH there. So they will be shoving out this bot lane, wanting to get that 3rd inhibitor there for the super minion buff there. It will fall shortly.
And FDG giving up a tower, definitely. They would have to try to protect the last tower they have, last tier 3 tower they have. KLH doesn't have Baron buff though, so FDG might able to just defend his tower without KLH's Baron buff.
I agree there. Now, Neko06 not being able to do much damage. But actually, a teamfight being breaking out. Shiro just absolutely melts there. The Chain of Corruption coming down. But Hoki26 is going to have to fall. Double kill coming in from Shiro. And a double kill coming in from Arhedge. They just absolutely annihilated FDG there.
JLKC didn't able to do anything at all.
Oh, but the fight is still going on. JLKC having to burn his flash there. He is quite a meaty Vlad there. Does pop the Hex Tech to get the little speed. Pops the passive Cell Division there onto Caspiel. That will be one less threat to deal with. But he does get to spawn back. Elastic Slingshot does land. And JLKC falls. And an ace coming in onto the side of KLH. And now the Nexus being threatened there. Super Ninjas are coming in. And they will be able to take the Nexus. Game 2 going to KL Hunters.
What an impressive game at KLH. A 25-minute game and for KLH, much more dominant game 2.